Welcome to Confessing the Faith, a theological and devotional walk through the 1689 Baptist Confession of Faith. I am your host, Sam Waldron, one of the pastors of Grace Reformed Baptist Church in Owensboro, Kentucky, and president of Covenant Baptist Theological Seminary. Today we'll be considering the subject of the necessity of Scripture, and I've called this talk, The Necessity of Scripture Explained. We ended the last talk by reflecting on the significance of God giving us written Scripture. But the confession does not leave the reason for written Scripture to our imagination, or even as a mere matter of implication or deduction. It has this long statement in the middle of paragraph 1 about the necessity of Scripture. Here it is. Therefore it pleased the Lord at sundry times and in diverse manners to reveal himself and declare that his will unto his church, and afterward for the better preserving and propagating of the truth, and for the more sure establishment and comfort of the church, against the corruption of the flesh and the malice of Satan and of the world, to commit the same wholly unto writing, which maketh the Holy Scriptures to be most necessary. What is the confession saying? It is saying that since nature does not reveal the gospel, God gave redemptive revelation in the Old and New Testament times to the church. This, however, the confession affirms, was not enough. A further work of God was necessary. Do you see that? Such redemptive revelation or saving knowledge of God would surely have been lost if God had not taken steps to preserve it. The weakness and wickedness of fallen men, the antipathy of the world, and the hatred of Satan for this revelation would surely have produced such a distortion of this precious revelation that it would be beyond all recognition and could not have its saving effect. But God, by a special providence, preserved this redemptive revelation by inscripturating it. So to the work of inscripturation, God added the work of the preservation of Scripture. It's important to note at this point an indisputable fact. The written Scriptures are vastly and incomparably the best preserved of all ancient literature. This amazing and unparalleled preservation is the living attestation today of God's special providence in preserving the Scriptures. You see, ancient works, the Code of Hammurabi, the works of Caesar, quoted all the time and quoted authoritatively. That's well and good. But then the same people or the same world deny that we have an adequate rendition of the Bible when our understanding of the Bible and its corroboration and preservation of history is much more emphatic than for these other well-known works. It is thus that the Scripture is necessary to the salvation of men. It is necessary not absolutely, we might say, as if men must themselves be able to read the book itself to be saved. Men who cannot read can be saved. Men can be saved by hearing the gospel orally. But the Scriptures are necessary practically, because it is only through the Scriptures that the precious redemptive revelation by which alone men can be saved is preserved among men. Only this book enables the church to bring and to preach to men authoritatively the living oracles of the gospel, which are necessary to be believed for salvation to come to their hearts.